knows, you run out of diapers. Okay.
Welcome back to our Overlanding 101 series. Today we're going to talk about overlanding with a family. I really hope you like it. Here's Mommy.
Welcome back to the final video in our Overlanding 101 series. At Hourless Life, overlanding as a family is what we do. It's who we are. And it's a big part of our personal passion to empower other families and, for me, other moms to get out there and overland with their kids. If you're new to the Hourless Life channel, let me give you a really quick background on who we are.
Yes, folks, and this is why Brittany is completely insane.
My husband Eric and I have been traveling full-time since 2014. We started in the RV world, and in 2016 our son Caspian was born into that. We weren't challenged by RVing anymore after a few years and were looking for something else. That's when we discovered overlanding. And so in 2018 our overlanding experience began. But we didn't start here. Back in 2014, the idea of conserving water and having hardly any clothing along with us, those were really big challenges that we've learned over time. I know that there are a lot of families with older kids as well, and I will definitely be touching on how to overland with tweens and teens and how to get them out there as a family and enjoy the experience. So if you're just starting at the beginning, no matter how old your children are, don't be intimidated. Just take the first step. If you're new to overlanding, the definition of overlanding that we use is vehicle-based adventure travel, often over long distances, over a long period of time. And if you want to learn more just about the definition of overlanding, then please go back and watch the first video in our Overlanding 101 series called What is Overlanding? But before we get into the how-to of overlanding with kids, let's talk about the why, because the why is what's going to keep you going when you confront challenges.
How are you feeling right now, Brittany?
I'm very frustrated. And when you're overlanding, there's always going to be challenges. We overland with our child because we believe there is so much to learn from other people.
The top layer where it's nice and soft and easy, and you skim, and you skim.
Nature and each other, that this is a wonderful classroom, so much better than just looking in the pages of a book. We can engage our 5 senses in everything that we're learning, and the people who we meet as we're overlanding have so much to teach us as well about their career, their way of life, their background. We just love it. A second reason to overland as a family is to learn team building and problem solving. There are some days when the weather is going to be really bad that you'll confront a freak rainstorm and everybody has to scramble to put things away. Or that sand is a lot deeper than you thought it was going to be and you have to work together to get out of the problem. These kind of skills are what we need for the rest of our lives as we grow into adults, and so it's such a good reason to get out into the real world with your children and help them to start learning those skills now. A third reason to overland with kids, and this is for us adults too, is that getting out into nature, interacting with new people, shows us our strengths and our weaknesses and puts into perspective how small we are in a very big world. Unfortunately, a lot of our children are growing up behind screens and on social media, and sometimes it can start to be an echo chamber as we gather people around us who have the same opinions as we do. And so it's really great to break out of that, and overlanding allows us to do that. A fourth and fairly obvious reason to go overlanding is that it gives us exercise, gives our children exercise, and gives us all time away from our screens. Now that exercise can look like so many different things. As a family, we love to hike. Do you like to hike? How far have you hiked?
5 miles.
5 miles? No way.
Yes, way.
We actually set a goal for Caspian before he was born that he was going to hike a mile for every year of life. And so you hiked a mile when you were 1, 2 miles when you were 2, and then you're only 4, but you've hiked 5 miles because you got a little ambitious, right? Yeah.
What? 5 miles?
Yes.
Wow. Show me 5.
But for older kids, it could be something completely different. It could be zip lining. It could be horseback riding. It could be boogie boarding by a beach. There are so many great ways to get exercise and integrate that into our overlanding travel.
Poke.
Poke. Those are just a few of the reasons why to overland with kids that come to my mind first, but some other reasons may already be coming to your mind. The reasons why to overland are unique to every family and even to every child. So before you get bogged down in the logistics and the planning and start to feel overwhelmed, focus on your why, because that's what's going to keep you going. Here are my top 10 tips for overlanding with your kids. Number 1, start incrementally. Don't try to go too far or too fast if you're just introducing your kids to the lifestyle of overland travel. The goal is to build everyone's endurance, especially because overlanding involves a certain amount of self-deprivation. You want to build joy in your children and an enjoyment for this style of travel. And if you try to fit too much in or do too much, nobody's going to enjoy it. So what does this look like? This means that it's okay to go to a state park for your first night of overlanding. Sure, you may want to end up totally off-grid and totally self-sufficient, which is part of overlanding, but when everyone's just getting into it, maybe it would be nice to have a hot shower and unlimited water at a state park. You could even pop the rooftop tent in the backyard of your house for your first night of overlanding. That way, if something happens that you didn't anticipate, or you just need to build your confidence as you get started, your house will be right there. Bottom line, don't be too hard on yourself as you're just getting started with your kids. Number 2, identify what it is that your kids need to be comfortable and have fun while they're overlanding. How can you meet those needs in creative ways? If your children are younger, these needs can be pretty easy to satisfy. I know for Caspian, if he has his loveys, then he can sleep pretty much anywhere. For your older children, it may require some communication to see what they feel they need. And then try and go out of your way and be flexible to meet those needs for them, to start overlanding on a really firm footing as a family. Number 3, involve your children in the trip planning from a very young age.
I was gonna say we could drive full turn and then do like a U-turn and then go that way.
Is that what you think?
If every member of the family is invested in the trip, they're more likely to want it to succeed. For your younger children, this planning could be as simple as, would you rather go hiking or go swimming? But as your children get older, they can have more and more say in what you do and where you go on your trip. Maybe you can incorporate something that your children are learning in school or something that they've shown interest in. And for your teenagers, they can even take the lead on the trip planning. Then they'll be absolutely invested in what you're doing as a family. Moving a step beyond the planning, your children can also be involved in the map reading and the navigation. What a wonderful thing for them to learn how to read a map. And then during your trip, that gives them something to do as well, is to help read along and tell the family where to go to reach their destination. My number 4 tip applies specifically to families who might have middle school and high school age kids. If your kids really aren't sure about this overlanding thing, there's other things that they'd rather be doing, consider allowing one of them to invite a friend on the overlanding trip. As you know, as our kids get older, the world is all about their friends and spending time with friends. So what better way to give them a positive experience of overlanding to invite the friend, share the lifestyle with them, allow them to get excited, and then hopefully that will lead to other trips in the future. Number 5, look for learning opportunities everywhere. They're right in front of you. If you go back to our video archives and watch our video about when we were exploring Moab, Utah, you'll see that Caspian asked a question about the solar system, and next thing I knew, Eric had gathered all of these rocks that were lying around our campsite, and he had recreated the entire solar system, and they were talking about orbits and distance around the sun and all kinds of things. We love this hands-on learning from our environment. And Eric and I believe that the more of our 5 senses that we use to learn, the more we and our children will remember what they learned. So don't take for granted the learning opportunities that are available when you're out with your children. Number 6, limit driving as much as possible. Overlanding is not a road trip. It's not about getting from point A to point B as quickly as you can. It's about the journey. It's about the moments in between. So instead of spending a lot of time driving, trying to cover far distances, make sure that you leave time for the activities in between that everyone enjoys. Also leave time for chores at camp. Leave time for making beds and doing dishes so that people don't feel rushed.
Sometimes I help Mommy clean the dishes.
And how do you do that, Caspian?
So basically, like, I can put soap on my brush and then scrub it all over, and then I can, like, do all that.
And are you a good helper?
One time I cleaned pretty much all the dishes in my life, but she was so surprised.
And also make sure to leave time at the end of the day at camp for winding down and getting ready for bed. It's this kind of approach that makes overlanding more sustainable for the whole family instead of making people feel rushed and stressed out. We want to leave time to build a campfire, to spend time singing as a family or reading stories before bed or telling stories. Whatever you do, make sure that you don't arrive at camp after dark or even drive at night. Everyone's going to be tired when you arrive at camp, and that doesn't make overlanding feel sustainable for the whole family. As full-time overlanders, our rule as a family is to arrive at camp by 3 p.m. at the latest. That gives us lots of time to find another camp if we need to, or just relax and set up before it's time to make dinner and get ready for bed. Number 7, start with what you have and get out there. Start overlanding now and don't delay. Whatever you do, don't go out and spend money on a ton of gear before you try overlanding with your kids and learn what style of travel really suits you. We're all different. We all enjoy doing different things, and so your overlanding journey is not going to look like ours. The only way to really know what's right for you is by experience. We definitely don't want you to spend so much money on gear that you don't have anything left to travel with. We don't want to get it backwards. If you want to know what you really need to start overlanding, then go back to our video in this series called What Do You Really Need to Start Overlanding, which we'll link up top. As parents, we want our children to have the best. We want them to have everything. So our gut instinct when we're packing is to throw everything in there. Lots of toys, lots of books, lots of clothing. But I think that as you start overlanding and you get out there, you'll realize that we're overpacking and we don't really need all that stuff. Our children are more likely to explore their environment and play with what they have, with rocks and sticks and the dirt. That's what Caspian does for sure. So the toys that we bring tend to facilitate that outdoor play. We actually got him a set of gardening tools so that he could make roads outside and play with his tiny Matchbox cars. That's the kind of thing that he likes to do outside. But in every experience, we found that he doesn't usually pay any attention to the toys that he has, and instead he looks around him in our new campsite and uses what's there. Number 8, it's okay to take the easy way when it comes to hygiene. Let's face it, when it comes to dirty, hungry, messy, thirsty kids, it's easy to use a ton of water at camp, but we can't carry a lot of water as overlanders. So I recommend that you use some really simple hacks to keep it easy on yourself and save water. Baby wipes are your friend. You can use them for pretty much anything. Sometimes I even use baby wipes to clean dishes in a pinch. You also have the option of using Venture wipes or Shower Pouch, which are big kid-size wipes that you can use in lieu of a shower or a bath. We use one with Caspian almost every night. And if doing dishes is the one dreaded chore that's keeping you from wanting to go overlanding, then use paper plates. Just get out there Take the easy way out if that's what it takes, and go overlanding with your kids. Remember, focus on the why, and all the how will fall into place. Number 9, be kind to yourself as a parent. It's okay to plan an easy meal, or to end the day cuddled up and watching a movie that you downloaded on Netflix. We're not trying to create this artificial Instagram style overlanding life as a family. We're trying to create memories with our children and to make it sustainable and enjoyable. So whatever it looks like for you, pursue that, and don't worry about comparing yourself to someone else or trying to live up to this hardcore overlanding expectation that really isn't real overlanding in a way. Number 10, enjoy every moment of overlanding with your children. We only get 18 summers with our children before they're off on their own as adults. With intentionality, we can use this overlanding time to have wonderful, deep conversations, lots of laughs, and make memories that none of us will ever forget. Overlanding with kids can be challenging at times, but it's so worth it. Exploring the world with your children makes the experience so much richer, and Eric and I are so privileged to travel with our son Caspian. We hope that these 10 tips empower you to see the possibilities. I'm here for you as a resource. Eric is here as well. We're happy to answer your questions, any questions that you have, and we hope to encourage you on this journey of overlanding with your children. We have a lot of resources for you on our website, ourlesslife.com. In fact, we have a whole section of our blog called Family Travel. I have a lot of tips there on hiking with kids, dry camping with kids, which is all about being off-grid and knowing how to use less water and things like that. I have an article called 10 Principles to Enrich Overlanding with Your Toddler, and so many more articles are on there for you to browse. So please go take a look, and I'll also put a link in the description of our video. Oh, before we let you go, we have some really exciting news. This week we soft launched our Patreon. Yay! It's something that we've been working towards for quite some time. We have some select friends who have already got on with the soft launch, and we want to say a special thank you to our expedition leaders, Don and Debi Mallory and Robert and Michele Daharsh. Thank you all for getting behind us. We are so excited to share this journey with you. This concludes our Overlanding 101 series. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope you can go back and watch all the videos in this series. We have one more week before we cross the border into Mexico and begin our global overlanding journey around the world. Next week's video will be from Eric and myself, all about how you can follow our adventure and make sure that you don't miss any moment along the way. Thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet, and leave a comment. We answer every single comment on YouTube that we receive. Until next time.